Well, House lawmakers are back in session today with the deadline for a new budget just 4 days away. Right now, there's no sign of avoiding government shutdown. The House needs to pass a dozen bills before Saturday at midnight. But as Liz Landers reports, infighting among Republicans is stopping agreement on any deal.
There's still no deal in sight for Republicans in Congress to keep the government funded as a shutdown looms Saturday at midnight. Speaker Kevin McCarthy telling reporters he thinks he's got a plan to avert a shutdown.
We're sitting here on a deadline, having 72% of it done, 0% done inside the Senate, that the biggest challenge I see right now that can be fixing some of these problems is the border.
Former President Trump encouraging Republicans to hold out for all their demands, even if it means Americans will suffer. Trump claiming Democrats will get the blame. But the White House says any shutdown falls squarely on far-right Republicans.
I'm prepared to do my part. But the Republicans in the House of Representatives refuse. They refuse to stand up to the extremists in their party.
Any spending bills in the House also need to pass the Senate before reaching the president's desk. And the Senate may soon introduce their own short-term spending bill to keep the government open. But the impacts of a potential shutdown will be felt by around 4 million federal workers, including military personnel who could miss paychecks if a shutdown occurs.
It's infuriating that this can't be resolved in a way in which the military families aren't held hostage.
Federal contractor Willie Joe Price, who works in the cafeteria at the Library of Congress, wouldn't qualify to receive back pay if a shutdown happens.
Living paycheck to paycheck and can't afford to do anything, and then the government shut down. And like I say, the government will go back and they're going to get paid. We're not going to get anything.
And the largest union for federal law enforcement says that all those officers are deemed essential and they will continue to protect Americans even without pay. In Washington, Liz Landers, ABC News.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says the chamber will hold its first procedural vote tonight on a stopgap funding plan that would extend government funding beyond September 30th. Meanwhile, members of the Republican-controlled House Judiciary Committee are in Chicago today talking about crime. Some Chicago leaders question their visit to the Fraternal Order of Police headquarters, calling it a political stunt. But congressional leaders say they're taking a closer look at rising crime and highlight what they call Democrats' soft on crime policies. Members had a lot to say with the recent rash of robberies, with 4 people held up at gunpoint earlier today.
Innocent people in Chicago are victimized by a justice system that cares more about political correctness than punishing the criminals who've harmed them and their families. For 11 years, Chicago has led the country in homicides, and it's only gotten worse.
Now, according to an official report, crime in Chicago is up nearly 20% over the last 5 years. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden joined striking members of the United Auto Workers Union in Michigan today. The UAW strike against the big 3 automakers is now in its 12th day. Biden encouraged workers to continue fighting for better wages, saying workers deserve a 40% raise. Now, it's believed to be a historic first for a sitting president to stand with union members on the picket line.
Wall Street didn't build the country. The middle class built the country. Unions built the middle class. That's a fact. So let's keep going. You deserve what you've earned, and you've earned a hell of a lot more than you're getting paid now.
Though Biden is in the ground, the White House insists the details of any deal should be left up to the negotiating parties. Former President Trump is set to visit with auto workers in Michigan tomorrow. Meanwhile, Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois is also rallying and showing his support with UAW members in Bolingbrook, the plant joining thousands of UAW members in walkouts on Friday. On Monday, the senator said, quote, "Nobody wants a strike, but nobody wants conditions to remain the same and not change." Durbin also complimented the president's trip to Detroit today. And the strike in Hollywood may soon be over. The Writers Guild of America board will decide whether to accept a potential agreement with the major studios and streaming services today. If approved, it would then go to the full Writers Guild membership for approval. Union members have been picketing for nearly 5 months. Neither side has released details, but the WGA told its members the agreement is exceptional.
I feel really proud that we stuck to our guns and didn't take any old deal that was slapped on the table and fought really hard.
They got a huge bump in residuals in addition to a new bonus structure that will be tied to how many people watch their show in a certain amount of time.
If the deal is approved, talk shows could resume production immediately, but most film and TV projects will still be delayed because actors with the SAG-AFTRA union remain on strike. Democratic Senator Bob Menendez of New Jersey says he's not stepping down despite a slew of federal bribery and corruption charges and pressure from local lawmakers. He and his wife maintain their innocence and intend to fight the charges. In executing a search of their home, federal agents allegedly found gold bars and about $500,000 in cash stuffed in clothing. The senator says the cash was legally obtained.
For 30 years, I have withdrawn thousands of dollars in cash from my personal savings account, which I have kept for emergencies. I firmly believe that when all the facts are presented, not only will I be exonerated, but I still will be the New Jersey's senior senator.
Menendez is stepping down as chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, defending his record on Egypt, though prosecutors claim he was improperly sharing information with that government.